class. But in actuality, we put in the same amount of hours that football does, sometimes even more, depending on how old you are, if you're competitive, and your age. Which brings me to my second point. Which is hours. For example, hours depend on your age, and how many classes you're taking, how long you're at the studio. One good example is when I got older, I was at the studio on the weekdays from 4 to 5 hours each night, depending on each class, because they were each 30 minutes, and then you had to change your shoes, and you had to change your shoes, and then you had to go to your next class. And then my final point is how dance impacted me today. I started dance at the age of 3. I started tumbling, and tumbling didn't work out very well. But then I found tap and jazz and ballet, and that was a turning point, and I really enjoyed it. And then when I got older, I started doing company dances, so I started going to having weekend practices, which are typically 4 hours every weekend or every other. So that's another 4 hours onto the hours that you already have. And then when I was a senior, I was doing student helper, helping little kids. I was doing tap, jazz, ballet, pre-point, hip hop, and lyrical, and on top of my competitions. So, in conclusion, I believe dance is a sport because we put in the same amount of hours, or sometimes even more, depends on the dancers. Depends on the dancer's ability. Even more each week. Compared to football players, basketball players, and main sports that you think of.
All right. Oh, sorry.